Hey, how's everybody doing today? So I'm just gonna make this short video because I wanted to talk about something that happened today. We got some great news going on today. Great breaking news. A victory for Donald Trump, our president, Donald Trump. Well, what happened is this. Today, it was announced by the Chinese government that they have passed a law in their system which will protect the intellectual property of companies in their country, of United States companies, of U.S. companies in China. This is a great victory for the Trump administration. The Trump administration, as you well know, is currently under a trade war with China, and one of the demands that President Donald Trump is making to the Chinese is exactly this: to protect the intellectual property of American businesses, American companies, that when they go and do business in China, they get screwed. Simple as that. You know, when our companies go and try to make business in China, the Chinese government have systems that allowed for China to steal the intellectual property for our people, our companies, our great minds. So this is a great news. This is a great victory for the Donald Trump administration. Now, let me put everything in context. Like I said, China and the United States are currently under a trade war, and a lot of the left media, the fake left media pundits are saying constantly that this is affecting the people and that Donald Trump is to blame for this trade war. However, this is not true. The trade war was not initiated, was not started by our president. Our president for sure will end this war with the victory of the United States of America over China on this issue. Why? Because China is the country that started this war. How? By imposing tariffs and fees on American products, and some American products. For example, on the car industry. On the car industry, China has been imposing tariffs of up to 25% for years, for a couple of decades now. And the past U.S. governments, the past administrations, like the Obama administration and even the Bush administration, did not do anything to fight this. And this is why the United States today has to do this. President Donald Trump is the one who has to take care of this business, and he's doing it in a very intelligent way, putting America's interests at first. So, again, the trade war that is ongoing right now as we speak, it actually had they had a cease, not a ceasefire, but a cease of the war, of this trade war just recently, because the United States negotiators and the China negotiators came up to a pre-agreement, if you want to call it, a tentative agreement in which both parties actually agreed to something. Now they have to put it in paper. Now, it's already in paper, but they have to refine the little details, and they're trying to do this so that it's done and complete by next month, when President Donald Trump and the President of China meet at the summit, at the Economic Summit of the Pacific in Chile, the South American country. This is going to be next month. So President Donald Trump is getting there next month, and the goal is for this agreement to be on paper, ready to sign on this next summit in Chile. So that is the news. This is the great news. And again, in preparation for that big summit next month, guess what? Today, China just announced, again, I'm going to repeat this once more, that China just announced that that they are going to, they actually passed, they just made it official. They passed a law that will protect intellectual property for American companies, and that includes the copyrights, that includes patents, that includes any type of intellectual property that in the past have been violated by the Chinese towards American companies. Now, this is a great victory for the Donald Trump administration. This is a great victory for the United States of America. This is a great victory for American companies, and especially a great victory for the workers. Now, this is part of the victory. This what just got announced, and it's going to be coming to effect on the 1st of January of next year, 2020. Now, on top of that, another victory was that the U.S. just sold, or let me put it the other way, China just bought 260,000 metric tons of soybeans from the U.S., from American producers, from American farmers in the Midwest. And this soybean is being shipped to China in multiple chips, multiple chips, are just because we got a deal with China. Well, and even though this deal is not set yet on hard stone, it's going to be. But the great work that the United States is doing, that President Donald Trump is doing to achieve this type of deals, this good deals, the new deals with China, is impressive. What they're doing is what past administration never got to do. It's starting, going back as far as first Obama's administration, then Bush administration, then Clinton's administration. All these administrations failed to get this done. And President Donald Trump is doing this. He's the one to say, you know what, we need to get this fixed. We need to fix this situation for the best interest of the United States, of the American worker, and that's exactly what he's doing. So this is a great news that just happened. It just broke today. Now, of course, we still have work to do. We still have a trade deficit with China of close to $300 billion. And that is one of the things that President Donald Trump is also working on. And that's why the trade war is going. But after this, and regardless of what the fake news or fake media says about how this is going to affect, yes, in any war, in any type of war, there's going to be people that are going to be effective. But if we were not to do nothing, they will continue to screw us up. They will continue to rip us off. Again, $300 billion a year in deficit with China. And this is just unsustainable. We needed to do something. And President Donald Trump is doing something about it. So, again, we have a big victory when it comes to trade war with China. Right now, the United States agreed not to impose tariffs this month, and they're actually holding back for the next set of tariffs are going to be set for the 15th of December. They're already set. So if China does their part and they continue in the path that they're doing and what they showed today, which was a good victory for the United States, which was to give protections for the American companies when it comes to intellectual property. So if China continues in that path, then the United States would not impose tariffs on the next month, or actually in December the 15th, which is when these new tariffs are set to kick in. So if China continues in this path, and we sign an agreement next month in Chile, in South America, then the United States have been victorious. We will have a victory, and President Donald Trump will have a great victory for the United States and for the American worker. Again, my name is Jesus Marquez. I just wanted to touch on this. This is a great news for our country, great news for the American worker. Now, the other great news was done, or was actually talked about yesterday. The other great news is that the pressure that President Donald Trump imposed on Turkey led to a great concession. The great concession was that we have a ceasefire in that country, in Syria. After what happened last couple of weeks, Turkey came over to secure their border with Syria, and they started to invade the country in the northern part of Syria. So the United States had a small force of troops in that region, and President Donald Trump took those troops out to protect them from harm, but also because we are tired of being in this endless perpetual wars all across the world. So President Donald Trump is taking American troops out of all this nonsense wars. We're fighting for nothing. We're fighting for sand in the desert. So let's just get our troops out of there. Let's get them out of harm's way, and let's use them when we really need it. Let's use our troops and our might, our military might, when we really need to use our military might to protect our vital interest. We don't have vital interest in Syria at the moment, so we need to. It was the right decision for the United States, for President Donald Trump to pull the troops out. But of course, you have now Democrats, you have now liberals, you have now the fake news media that are criticizing the president for doing this. Now, let me get this straight. Democrats want war? I mean, I thought that they're always talking about how Republicans are the ones that always want war, and Republicans are, in their words, the ones that want to rebuild other countries. Well, in this occasion, they are the ones who want war. The United States, led by President Donald Trump, wants to take our troops out of this war. We don't want to be part of this war, but of course, the left media, the left wing fake news media, can't find anything else to criticize the president, so they want to pick on this. Now, having said that, the victory that was announced yesterday was that Turkey agreed to a ceasefire, a permanent ceasefire, and the protection of the rights of the Kurds on the north part of Syria, thanks to the pressure that President Donald Trump imposed, for the sanctions that President Donald Trump imposed on Turkey. So we have a deal. President Donald Trump announced this yesterday, and this is a great victory, despite what Democrats say or do, despite what the fake media says or does. President Donald Trump is winning, and even though Democrats in Congress and the left, with the help of the left wing media, are continuously just attacking the president, trying to just block him from doing anything, and going on with this nonsense impeachment process, impeachment inquiry. Well, even though that's happening, well, President Donald Trump continues to achieve things, continues to have victories for the United States, for the people of the United States, through all this deals that he's making, and through the ceasefire in Syria. So I just wanted to thank you. My name is Jesus Marquez. Follow me on my social media. I love you. God bless you. Hasta luego.